But is there a shift 2 weeks in the Trump administration? Are they beginning to understand that there are reactions to their original efforts of the first 10 days of this administration?
Yes. Earlier this week, of course, President Trump holding a legislative strategy session in the Oval Office with some of his congressional outreach teams. I can also tell you that Boris Epshteyn, another special assistant to President Trump, was spotted several times on Capitol Hill talking with senators, and even some key sessions with House Speaker Paul Ryan and other members, meeting with Jared Kushner. So a lot of happening conversations behind the scenes.
Exactly. Make me smarter on this. I was asked 3 times yesterday, and I said, I got to talk to Cirilli. Who is driving this shift within the administration? Is it the president? Is it Mr. Kushner? Who is it?
I think it's President Trump. I think that when you looked at the reaction from last weekend on the temporary travel ban, I think that that was a wake-up call. And then when you look again, even in the lower echelon communications staffers, they saw that as a wake-up call. And then even beyond that, yesterday I was speaking with a senior aide of a Republican member on the House Financial Services Committee. And Tom, what he told me was that there was a startling sense of shock after the executive orders on immigration, and that since the rollout of the Supreme Court pick, they feel that they finally got a messaging strategy now.
All right, Kevin, talk to me about what we've seen with this regulation, right? So basically, Trump is trying to repeal all of this regulation that was hated by the financial industry. How much do we know of what he'll replace it with? Is he getting rid of it, or is he changing the regulation?
So 2 things, Francine. First, I'm speaking with a source earlier this morning who confirmed to me that later today we are anticipating executive orders coming from the White House that would address Dodd-Frank, as well as the fiduciary rule, which would impact financial advisors. That was a huge wonk war that was set up in Washington with financial industry before the campaign. The second point that I would make is that earlier this week on the House Financial Services Committee, as well as the Senate Banking Committee, the groundwork is being laid to legislatively fix and walk back parts of the Dodd-Frank bill. Jeb Hensarling, chairman of House Financial Services, a meeting with members earlier this week to provide them a briefing of what's known as the Financial Choice Act, which will be, according to the sources I'm speaking with at the White House, as well as on Capitol Hill, the blueprint for repealing Dodd-Frank.
But Kevin, these rules, were they not put in place to protect the global banking system, but also the average investor? And so, I don't know if it's the checks and balances, or how can we be sure that what will be replaced with are the right measures?
So what's interesting here is that what's similar to Dodd-Frank is also what we're watching on the Affordable Care Act, or Obamacare, and that Republicans are going to have to grapple with a political reality, and that is that repealing all of it might not be what the entire country wants. So I think you're not going to see an entire repeal of Dodd-Frank or ACA. What you will see are key parts walked back and tweaked.